You've been listening to Democrat Doug Jones in Alabama, successfully pulling off a run for the U.S. Senate. He will be the next senator to join here in Washington with a lot on the plate for the GOP in 2018. How much will it cost them in losing that seat? First of all, let's talk before we hear from Roy Moore. We expect we will hear from him eventually, from Alabama's Secretary of State, John Merrill. Let's talk about his reaction. Secretary, great to have you with us tonight. What can you tell us about turnout? Because we thought that was going to be so critical tonight.
Thank you, Shannon. It's unbelievable. The people of Alabama really responded in this campaign unlike anything was ever expected to have occurred. Actually, when you see exactly what happened with more than 1.2 million Alabamians participating, this is a record participation effort, and the people of Alabama are to be applauded for their encouragement and their support of both candidates and both campaigns.
Yeah, because we've talked a lot about this is not only a special election, it's a special election because it comes at an off time. It is part of a runoff now, and there have been so many competing stories and scandals and all these kinds of things. And that gets us to tonight. Now, you and I have had many conversations as this has unfolded the last few weeks about write-in votes. And I want to talk about something that comes from Steve Hayes, which I'm sure is from your office. He says Jones votes right now 640,520, Moore 631,576, so about 9,000 votes difference. Then he says write-ins were 22,044. Those folks who decided to have write-in votes instead of picking one of these candidates more than covered the margin by double. For them to take the time to go out and vote on a day when they knew that their write-in probably wouldn't matter, that seems like quite a statement from the folks of Alabama.
Well, it really is, Shannon, and it's very important to note that all of those write-in votes will be documented and recorded and printed, so it will be understood exactly who received those votes and what that will mean in the final difference. We've actually sent instructions to the probate judges a couple of times. We'll send them again tonight to make sure that they know that those votes are supposed to be counted, documented, and recorded, and we will have those in the information that will be received back by our office toward the end of this week, the first of next week.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the names that come up, and I would imagine we maybe see some Jeff Sessions and some other names there from Alabama, maybe Mo Brooks, others who were a part of that initial first larger election before getting us to this runoff. But are you surprised at all that people would cast a vote that they knew probably wouldn't impact the tally for one or the other of the two, but actually gave Doug Jones the huge advantage, the win here?
Well, certainly it looks that way, Shannon, and one of the things I think needs to be accepted from that is that the people of Alabama were trying to make a statement with those write-in votes, and they wanted to make sure that those votes were recorded and they were documented for the candidate of their choice other than one of the two candidates that were listed on the ballot.
Well, it's always interesting to me to see that data when it gets broken down and we really actually see the other names and the effort that people made to go to the polls on a day like today and not vote for one of the two main candidates. We look forward to that. When do you anticipate that information will be available, and when will you certify the results so that Doug Jones will be that step, one step closer to coming here to Washington to serve?
Sure, Shannon. One of the things that needs to be noted is that the provisional ballots that were cast today will actually be processed and counted next Tuesday. The information about the write-ins will also be processed and counted next Tuesday. That information needs to be back in our office by next Friday, the 22nd. The earliest that the vote can be certified will be the 26th day of December, and the latest will be January the 3rd. So within that window, there are a number of things that have to be processed and executed by the local offices in each one of the 67 counties, as well as our office in the Office of the Secretary of State. We need to make sure that everything is done according to plan to ensure that the integrity and preservation of the credibility of this process is secure.
Okay, so the man we now think is the senator-elect, though not officially without your certification, but Doug Jones, the man who appears to have won tonight, the Democrat, he's got a lot waiting for him here in Washington. But just so folks are reminded, this is essentially a two-year term for him as he fills out the seat that was vacated by Jeff Sessions when he became the Attorney General. You know, 2 years out, a lot of people are already running for this seat. How do you think this will play out 2 years from now? Because this has been one of the most unusual, raucous campaigns that we've seen in a long time. And it seems like, you know, within months, the two sides are going to be looking at this as a fresh seat again.
Certainly it is, Shannon, and it's something that needs to be given a great deal of attention. A lot of people have said that if Doug Jones won, then basically what would happen is he would become the Scott Brown of Alabama. Of course, Scott Brown was serving in Massachusetts after Senator Kennedy's death, and he served for 2 years and then was defeated by Elizabeth Warren as she took that seat in the full term. So there are a number of things that can happen, but it's important to make sure that those continue to be processed according to the way that the people of Alabama intend for them to be processed. I also think that it's important to note that we need to make sure that we're giving attention to every detail, and Section 17-16-20 of our code also talks about an automatic recount provision, and it could be that Judge Moore's team will actually want to pay for a recount to occur for it being within half of 1%. The automatic recount happens when it's half of 1%, but depending on how it actually evolves at this point when those provisionals are counted, or to see how other things actually affect that, it could reduce that number a little bit more than it is now to make it half of 1%. And if that takes place, we'll follow state law in order to ensure the integrity and preservation of the credibility of the process.
Yeah, that's an important fact to look at as you go through these ballots and get to the final numbers. I'm not sure that your office is going to want to tackle that after all you have been through. I know you will do it dutifully, but I know you'd probably like to take a nap as well after the last few months.
Well, I tell you, it's been unbelievable. There's no doubt about that.
All right, Secretary Merrill, we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Shannon.